So the costumes you're going to see are once again based on real photographs from our immigration files. And so in the middle is an immigration inspector, and that's actually not an Inspector Clouseau suit. That's actually the real thing from John Endicott Gardner, one of the inspectors at Angel Island. They were able to match it perfectly. And the same thing for our two characters, Chris Guerin and Diana Lau. We sent them actual photographs out of the files, and they just matched those things spot on. So it was an amazing feat by them. We really want to thank them. We really want to thank Eddie Wong and the Angel Island Immigration Station Foundation for really giving their great support for this really crazy experiment that we're doing. We also want to thank somebody who's not going to be in the drama today, but who did great work on our behalf. She was like everywhere at once, and that's Marissa Louie.
Hi, Dan.
Where's she at? Oh, there she is back there. Okay, yeah, she really did a lot of things to bring it together, so that was really wonderful. I'm Daniel Nealon from the National Archives at San Francisco, and I want to welcome you all to our Angel Island interrogation dramas, or as some would say, the interrogation zone. The following two pieces are products of the ongoing public service collaboration between Angel Island Immigration Station Foundation and the National Archives at San Francisco. The stories we're about to see are taken directly from priceless historical immigration files held by the National Archives at San Francisco, and from real interrogation transcripts and other federal documents compiled at Angel Island during the Chinese Exclusion Act period, and shortly after the Angel Island Immigration Station opened in 1910. The files show that the U.S. Immigration Service investigated and interrogated Chinese immigrants during this period with a meticulousness and attention to detail that some might even call fanatical. Interrogations were generally taxing and arduous and could contain trick questions to trip up an immigrant. One common feature was stress. The stress of detention, long or short, at Angel Island, the Immigration Service's home turf. The stress of being isolated and scrutinized in a prison-like setting, surrounded by the deliberate, dominating adversarial ambience of an intimidating bureaucracy before which the immigrant, as a rule, was guilty until proven innocent. The Immigration Service cross-checked any statements or claims by the immigrant against what we might call its massive paper database. Records from and about relatives, friends, enemies, acquaintances, white witnesses often required to verify your status, neighbors in China and San Francisco, etc. The slightest discrepancy in an immigrant's testimony could lead to big trouble with the authorities and possible exclusion and deportation. Some Chinese immigrants survived the investigation and interrogation gauntlet rather well. Others fell into a world of prolonged distress and trouble, from which they might sometimes emerge victorious, but never unscathed. Our two stories provide starkly contrasting examples. Both concern immigrants trying for admission as immediate relatives of Chinese merchants. INS certified Chinese merchants and their immediate families were an exempt class, not subject to the Chinese exclusion laws. A brief cautionary note. What you won't be seeing today is a dramatic rendition of the complete contents of the interrogation documents and immigration files. These case files are just too big, and there was just too much that happened. What you will be seeing is a small, incomplete, but interesting succession of sample excerpts that we lifted out, then sewed back together the best we could. A whole lot more is covered in the complete interrogations and case files. And now to briefly introduce our star players. As young immigrant Zheng Zheng in our first piece, and in a brief walk-on for the notorious Quan Kwok Wah. In the second piece, Chris U. Garrett. As the main protagonist in our second piece, the alleged merchant's wife, young she, Diana Lau. Now for the villain. Representing a variety of officials in the U.S. Immigration Service bureaucracy at Angel Island, Immigration Inspector, Chair of the Board of Inquiry, Law Division official, etc., Professor, author, and anti-exclusion spokesman in real life, Bob Ardee. And for more information about our stars, the National Archives San Francisco, and the immigration case file, please see your handouts and feel free to visit our exhibit table up in the mess hall room there. Finally, as the all-purpose narrator, chorus, and Rod Serling figure, I'm Daniel Nealon from the National Archives of San Francisco.
Huh?
Thank you. And now, let the drama begin.